Hey, it's Ed here with Tracksuit, the always-on and easy-to-use brand tracking solution that's proving that great brands build great businesses. With a common language to communicate and measure the value of brand building, and today I'm going to show you a real-life example of how this would look in the eyes of a marketing team. Let's take Monzo's dashboard as an example. We can see here we're looking in the personal banking category, so how we qualify that category in and how well penetrated that category is. Most people in the UK have a personal bank account. And then we can see the health and shape of our funnel, seeing exactly how that compares with the competitors of our choosing to see how we're performing in the market, filtering by time or filtering by demographic. I'm going to start over by looking at the category page, which is going to show us who are the people demographically that are buying into the category. And we can start understanding who are the folks that are then aware of us. So in the green, we can see the people that are coming into the category. And in the purple, we can see the people who are aware of our brand. It's a really great place to understand how this compares to some of our main competitors and really seeing where there's opportunity to start winning market share. Now, for Monzo as an example, we can see we do a pretty good job of getting in front of all of the folks that are coming into the category. But as we move through the different stages of the brand funnel, like the consideration stage, we can start seeing quite a few discrepancies here in terms of where we do a really good job of getting those folks to consider us, or perhaps not such a great job, where you can see, let's take those 65 plus, where almost a quarter of that age group make up the category, only 8% of that audience is going to consider Monzo as a bank. So it's a really great place for you to very quickly come in and understand where there's opportunity to target new folks to win new business. Now, jumping over into the conversion tab, we can understand what the job to be done is. We can see how well we convert through each of the key inflection points in our brand funnel to really understand how we can make the most of our marketing dollars. You can see here Monzo are converting 36% of those folks in the category from being aware of them to consider them, which in comparison to the competitor average is slightly above average. But as we look at, let's say, that 65 plus audience, we know there's quite a low consideration for that audience. And we can see we're only converting 13% of those people in that age group from being aware of us as a brand to consider us. So people know Monzo, but they're not considering the brand in that age category. What is the job to be done for you? And how can we actually get more of those folks to consider a bank? Jumping into the statements part, we can start understanding what these people think and feel about us as it relates to some of our key brand attributes. We ask the question, do you feel Monzo simplifies banking, is transparent, is a brand I trust? These are statements chosen by you that align with your attributes, and we can see how well we perform at each stage of the brand funnel. So we can see for those that are aware of our brand, 25% of folks think Monzo simplifies banking. And we can start getting this picture as to how well that message carries through the brand funnel. That jumps up to 46% of those once they've considered the brand, and once they've used the brand, jumps all the way up to 53%, clearly leading in the pack here for simplifying banking. So they do a really good job of that once people have used them. But obviously at the awareness stage, only a quarter of folks believe. What message do you really want to be driving at each stage of the brand funnel, and which attributes are we performing really well with, and which ones are our competitors owning better than we are? And as we start implementing some of those strategies, we can then measure in an always-on basis exactly how we're growing our awareness, growing our brand consideration with the key audiences that are important to us, so that you can really understand if what you're doing is working. Every single month there's going to be a new data point added to the dashboard to give you a real-time view of exactly how well you're performing here. So looking at awareness as an example, if we take that same age group, we can look at those 65 plus and understand, actually, we've done a pretty good job of getting in front of those folks from an awareness perspective. We've grown it from 67% to 73%. So we're doing a great job here. But at the consideration stage, it's staying relatively flat, if not dropping down a little bit. It's dropped 2 percentage points. So we can see here that's perhaps something that we need to be focusing on. And we can look at the full brand funnel too. So we can see here, great for proving to the board or proving to investors the impact of the work you're doing. We're doing a fantastic job here of growing awareness with this category. The next job on our radar is going to be growing that consideration and really trying to drive some of those key attributes with that audience. We'd be really excited to show you what this would look like for your brand and category. So please get in touch and one of the team will be delighted to show you around. Thanks for watching.